Right now, millions of Americans are waking up with the same question: why is my payment late? And what changed overnight behind the scenes? Before we go deeper, tap subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss critical updates that protect your benefits. If you rely on Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or survivor benefits, this is something you cannot afford to ignore. Over the last several days, banks across the country have begun adjusting how they handle incoming federal deposits. Not because Social Security is short on funds, not because benefits are being reduced, but because new banking compliance rules are starting to take effect, and they're already creating confusion for some recipients. A number of people are noticing their deposits arriving later than usual. Others are being asked to confirm details they've never had to verify before, and a small but growing group is reporting temporary holds placed on their funds. Now, take a breath before you worry. This isn't a dramatic announcement from the Social Security Administration. There was no televised briefing, no letter mailed to seniors, and that's exactly why this feels unsettling. These adjustments aren't coming from Social Security itself. They're coming from the banking side, compliance updates tied to federal regulations that most people never hear about until the effects reach their account balance. Large banks and local credit unions alike are updating internal systems. Those systems control how federal payments are received, verified, and released into your account. And here's the part most people don't realize. Even if Social Security sends your money exactly on time, your bank controls when you actually see it. That gap is where confusion is starting to appear. Across community forums and local conversations, people are sharing similar stories. My payment always hits on Wednesday. This time it didn't. The bank told me it's under review. They mentioned a new policy but didn't explain what it was. That's where misinformation begins to spread quickly. Some people start assuming benefits are being reduced. Others think payments are being redirected or canceled. None of that is happening. But the stress people feel is very real. Here's the truth. What's happening has nothing to do with your eligibility, your benefit amount, or your work history. It has everything to do with how banks are now required to process government deposits under updated fraud prevention and identity protection guidelines. And this isn't affecting a tiny group. If you receive Social Security by direct deposit, which is nearly everyone, these changes could touch you in some way, even if you haven't noticed it yet. You might be thinking, I've been getting my benefits for years without a problem. Why now? That's the right question. And the answer explains why this is rolling out quietly and why the timing matters. Let's walk through how this system actually works. Social Security doesn't simply push a button and make money appear in your account. Every payment follows a path. First, the Treasury releases the funds, then the payment travels through the federal processing network. Finally, your bank receives the deposit and decides when to make it available to you. That last step is where these new rules come into play. Over the past year, federal regulators have pressed banks to tighten how they manage incoming government payments. The goal is to reduce fraud, prevent account takeovers, and stop illegal rerouting of benefits. On paper, that sounds like a good thing. In practice, it introduces new checks that can slow things down for a small percentage of accounts. Banks were instructed to update compliance procedures for recurring federal deposits. That includes Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and veterans benefits. These updates focus on identity verification, account monitoring, and release timing. In plain terms, banks are now required to double-check certain accounts before releasing government funds. Not every account, not every payment, but enough that people are noticing. If your account shows recent changes, unusual activity, or mismatched information, the system may flag it automatically. When that happens, your deposit doesn't vanish. It pauses, sometimes for a few hours, sometimes for a day, in rare cases a bit longer. And here's something important. These checks are automated. A computer system is doing the review first. There's no person immediately stepping in. And a computer doesn't know that your rent is due, or that you need to pick up a prescription. This rule change didn't come with a big public announcement because technically Social Security didn't change anything. Your benefit is the same. Your payment date is the same. The quiet shift happened at the banking level. That's why Social Security representatives are telling callers, "We sent the payment on time." From their perspective, that's accurate. But from your perspective, if the money isn't visible in your account yet, it feels like something went wrong. And you're not imagining that experience. Even a short delay can affect millions of households when deposits are this widespread. A 24-hour pause may not sound significant until it's tied to groceries, medication, or a bill waiting to be paid. These are not permanent delays. They are conditional checks. Most payments still go through without any issue at all. But for those who get flagged, it can feel sudden and confusing. Some people are being asked to verify their identity again. Others are told to confirm contact details. A few are getting emails or app alerts from their bank requesting confirmation they've never had to provide before. That's not random. That's the new system doing its job. And the people most affected might surprise you. Retirement recipients whose banking information hasn't changed in years may never notice anything different. But recipients on SSI and SSDI are seeing more temporary holds, not because those programs are unstable, but because those accounts often show patterns, balance changes, income thresholds, or activity that automated systems review more closely. Survivor benefit recipients are also appearing in reports, especially if they recently changed banks or updated direct deposit information. Even small life changes can trigger a review. Updating your mailing address, adding a joint account holder, opening a linked savings account. To you, that's normal. To a monitoring system, it's a data change worth checking. Picture this. Your deposit always arrives on the same Wednesday. You've planned your month around it. Wednesday comes and nothing appears. Thursday morning, still nothing. Social Security says the payment was sent. Your bank says it's under review. That waiting period is where anxiety builds fast. This does not mean your benefits are being reduced. It does not mean payments are being stopped. These are processing holds, not benefit decisions. But the real-world impact is still stressful. A short delay can mean overdraft fees, late charges, or going without essentials while you wait. Banks are not always required to notify you immediately when a deposit is flagged. Sometimes the only sign is that the money isn't there yet. That silence is what fuels rumors online. You may also notice more messages from your bank asking you to confirm identity or update information. If you ignore those alerts, your deposit may stay on hold longer than necessary. The good news is that most delays are resolved quickly once verification is complete, often the same day, sometimes within 24 to 48 hours. Here's what you can do to protect yourself. Check that your bank account information is fully up to date. Make sure your address, phone number, and linked accounts are correct. Pay attention to messages from your bank. If they ask you to confirm your identity, respond promptly. If your deposit doesn't show up on the usual day, contact your bank and ask if a verification hold is in place. And most importantly, don't panic. Social Security has sent your payment. Your benefits are still secure. The majority of payments are still arriving exactly on time. Most people will never notice a difference, but for those who do, awareness can make the situation much less stressful. Over the next few months, banks will complete the rollout of these updates. Being proactive now can save you confusion later. Social Security remains stable. Your benefits are not being cut. These are procedural checks designed to protect accounts, even if they create temporary inconvenience. Stay alert. Stay informed. And if this explanation helped you understand what's really happening, make sure you stay connected so you don't miss important updates that affect your money, your benefits, and your peace of mind.